Good. All right, guys, we're going to talk about what to do if you tweak a muscle or tweak a tendon a little bit, or if you get a little small injury. One thing that it just happens, if you're living an active lifestyle, you're going to get hurt. Things pop up. I mean, even if you do everything perfect form, perfect. I mean, shit just happens. And it happens at a major level, too. If you look at just this past weekend, the super stud young quarterback didn't even get touched and blew his ACL. Same thing happened to Jordy Nelson a couple of years. I mean, those are major injuries, but little things, they just happen, okay? And then, so people, I'm often asked what to do after an injury, and I'm going to talk about what you should do and what you probably shouldn't be doing. And this is going to go against conventional wisdom, but let me try and explain why conventional wisdom in this case isn't the most intelligent thing. So, more often than not, people come up to me and like, oh, I tweaked my elbow, or my elbow's been bothering me for a while, or today was a plantar fasciitis injury. And people always ask me, like, how do I stretch it? And then I ask, well, what have you been doing so far? Well, I've been icing it, and I've been trying to stretch it, and all right, let's talk about that for all. So why are we conditioned to want to ice an injury? Well, because after you get hurt, it gets inflamed, right? It produces inflammation. So the ice is meant to reduce the inflammation. So the question is inflammation wrong, right? So after hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, is our body making inflammation by mistake? Is it an incorrect response to an injury, right? Should we be treating the symptom of inflammation, right? When we're treating inflammation, we're not treating the injury, we're just suppressing a symptom. Well, here's the thing. Acute inflammation, which means short-term inflammation, that is what helps your body heal. It creates a thing called diapedesis, where like little cells can get across the blood vessels and take away the damaged tissue and start repairing and healing tissue, okay? So short-term inflammation is a good, healthy response to injury. Now, that's different from long-term inflammation, where we're eating bad foods all the time, we're not taking care of ourselves, and we're creating chronic or just continual damage. Long-term inflammation is very dangerous. Short-term inflammation is bad. So, there's the acronym that people say R.I.C.E or RICE. So you want to rest it. That is actually a really good thing for the most part. I mean, if you hurt something, the best thing to do a lot of times at first is just let it be. Just take it easy. I always like to say, don't pick the scab. So if you have a big old cut on your arm and you keep scratching it, it's never going to heal, right? So if you damage tissues underneath your skin, right, and you keep re-aggravating it, it's never going to heal. So sometimes you got to rest it at first. So ice. So what is ice doing? That's treating inflammation. That's not addressing the cause. Compression. You compress it to get the inflammation out. Elevate, lift it up above your heart, they say, to reduce inflammation. All of that is treating inflammation. It's not treating the injury itself. Okay, so a better option instead of icing it and then taking drugs, which is anti-inflammatory drugs. People are like, well, I've been icing, I've been taking ibuprofen, and how do I stretch it, right? Icing and anti-inflammatory drugs impede the inflammation, which helps so you heal slower, right? Icing literally makes you heal slower, slows down the medical, especially connective tissue like tendons and whatnot. And here's the thing, there's not a single bit of evidence anywhere, there's none that exists that shows icing helps you heal better or longer. I mean, it's so common, especially in my car office. Anytime someone lays on their stomach, I can see their foot will fold in a little bit. So it's like, you sprained your ankle. I'm like, well, how do you know? So what happens is sometime when they're younger, they sprained their ankle, folded it inward. They iced it and compressed it and wrapped it, never actually let it heal properly. So there's laxity in that ankle and it just flops in, and then they have, I have bad ankles, right? So that's because they had an improper treatment. So like icing and compression and anti-inflammatory drugs, I could show you studies that show that taking anti-inflammatory drugs impedes the healing process, especially for bones. The last orthopedist I worked with up by the cities, he was very much opposed to icing and anti-inflammatory drugs, which is really cool. If you want to take any pill, let's say you injure a muscle and it hurts so bad you're having a hard time sleeping, take Tylenol. So Tylenol blocks pain, but it's not an anti-inflammatory. Fun little side fact is nobody knows how Tylenol works. It just does, which is kind of crazy that nobody actually knows what it's doing. So you don't want to ice it. You don't want to compress it. You don't want to elevate. You don't want to take drugs, right? Resting at first is a great idea. You don't want to stretch it more often than not. So here's what happens. Like, see here, muscles, they're like long, stringy cells that side like this. So if you strain a muscle, it's like you tear it. You kind of overstretch it, right? So you have an overstretched muscle. And then when you stretch it, you're stretching something that's already stretched. It doesn't make any sense. Here's the best treatment. What you want to do is active motion. So let's say you injure your bicep muscle, like strain a muscle here. You want to work that muscle. You want to get it moving as soon as you can. If it's hurt really bad, rest for a while. But then once it's been, a little bit, you want to work it. I call it the gray area. You don't want to do nothing. You don't want to be a hard ass or you aggravate it. You want to do in between. lightweight, high reps, and really get blood pumping through that injured area, and it helps it heal so much faster. I mean, I've got a lot of experience in this, and I've had a lot of injuries, 3 knee surgeries. I mean, you should see my big toe joint. I'm about to snap my toe off literally in football, so lots of injuries. And I found, putting heat and active motion helps you heal so much faster. And then once you are healed and feeling good, that's when you want to be stretching, stretch when you're feeling good. Too often we're like, once we get hurt, like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Do that now. Be that motivated now about everything. Stretch what doesn't hurt. So that way it helps prevent injury in the future. Stretch, take care of yourself, all that motivation, just apply it now. So I hope that helps. One thing I'm hesitant to do this is there's a lot of different types of injuries, right? And sometimes my advice for one injury is different for another. But overall, I never use ice. I never compress, never elevate. I never treat the symptom of inflammation. Now, there may be a case sometimes for a little bit of ice short-term up front, because some people, actually too many people, we have such poor lifestyles, we're already kind of chronically inflamed, and then when we injure something, the inflammation goes out of control, right? It's more of a lifestyle thing. So maybe at first, some ice would be okay. And you have to realize we're not like athletes making millions of dollars. If I had an athlete that's making millions of dollars and I have a big game coming up, I'm gonna ice the hell out of it. I'm gonna get as much inflammation out of there as quickly as possible. I don't care how well it heals. I just want this guy to be in less pain and have some mobility so he can perform next week. That's a lot different than the situation we're in, right? So when you see how some people are treated, it's a lot different than what my goal is, of just be a long-term healthy dude. Right, so I hope this helps. I know this is going to go above conventional wisdom, but try and prove me wrong. Like, try and find some good research that shows icing helps you heal faster and heal better, improves outcomes, anything. There's actually full books written about why this doesn't make sense, all right? Going against conventional wisdom is hard, but hey man, the truth is the truth, so don't kill the messenger. And in the future, when you get hurt, rest for a bit, and then active recovery. Get that muscle working, get some blood pumping, lots of high reps, low resistance, get blood pumping through there. You'll heal so much faster, and then once you are healed, that's when it's time to stretch. Whew.